Yo, yiggity. So I was having a lot of trouble coming up with a blog idea this week because everybody's shouting in my room. You can't hear it now, but every time there's a touchdown or something, anything, there's shouting. And it's not that I'm not interested in the sport of football. I just find it very difficult to get so into it. Hence the subject of our blog today. Sorry, that was kind of weird. I had several altercations with screaming children yesterday, so my voice is a little bit hoarse. So for the blog today, I'm going to borrow again from that book that I showed you last time. Hold on a second. This one. And if I haven't told you yet, you must read that book. One very important thing in that book is this idea of living within your circle of influence. Let me give you an example. Someone somewhere in this grand United States is going to be very, very upset after this football game ends tonight. Let me repeat. Football game. It will affect how they act towards their friends, their family, and anyone they meet. And they will justify it by saying, I am so upset that the Vikings or the Saints, I actually know the football team's names, lost. That is called living in your circle of concern. What we want to do is live in the circle of influence, meaning the only things that concern us are the things that we can actually change. Why would that be a good thing? When you only care about the things that you can change, that gives you control over the outcome. And when you know that you have control over the outcome, then you can't blame anybody else and you can't make excuses. Now let's attack this from another angle. You see people a lot of time complaining about certain people from work, people in positions of power and politics, business owners. But here's my question. If you're not going to do anything about it, why are you talking about it? And if we all agree that the situation really is out of your hands, then there's absolutely no point in worrying about the outcome. Whatever happens will happen. The great thing is that if you actually have no control over something, then it probably doesn't affect your life at all. Now I know that a lot of people are watching this and they're thinking, well, what about this situation? I don't care about the situation. This is a principle that extends to all situations. If you have no control over it, don't worry about it. If you do have control over it, don't complain about it. Do something about it. Boom. Question of the week. Second thought, I'm tired. Let's finish this tomorrow. Whoosh. I actually want to touch back for a second. Football jargon. And ask how many of us can honestly say that all of our problems are caused by other people. Obviously, we are part of the problem. So when I say do something about it, that's what I mean. Fix yourself. Don't try to fix the other person. Fix you. Want to do that? Read the book. Implement it. And read any other book that you can get your hands on. So for the past couple weeks, we've been talking about one of my clients whose credit score was high enough to qualify him for a loan about 6 months ago, and now today it is 0. Let's look at some guesses as to why that happened. Actually not the case for this situation. In fact, all of those would actually yield you just plain bad credit, wouldn't yield you no credit at all. So what is the answer? Actually, what happened was my client became outdated. He and I had a contest and I outdated him. Now what I mean is that his credit lines were like a year and a half old. About 6 months ago, they were still valid because it was still within about a year. But now, it's just getting too old for any lender to tell whether he is reliable enough to pay back a loan. It's not an irreparable situation. He can still get a cosigner for the loan, and that will help the lender to feel secure that the loan will get paid back, even if he does default. And also keep in mind in this situation that the only problem is that the credit no longer really draws a very good picture of how well he can repay a loan now. It's much easier to rebuild credit if you've had a decent history in the past that's just become outdated. How does one avoid this? Just maintain your credit lines. Lenders like to see 3 trade lines for the last 12 months. Personally, I only have 2. But the last 12 months is key. The closer the activity is to the present day, the more important it is. So if you don't have any kind of credit activity over the last 2 years, you can expect that your credit score is going to be 0. Now for this week's weekly question, I want to ask, why do you think you personally worry about things that you can't change? Like things that are totally beyond your control, or things that happened in the past, or things that you think are going to happen in the future. Why do you think you personally worry about it? Leave thy comments below. And always remember, anybody in your life who is confused about real estate, send them to me, and I'll take care of them. And you take care of yourselves out there in this horrible, wintry nightmare. I'll see you next week.